Definitely dangerous times that we've been embarking on the past couple days. Obviously, you know about Donald Trump getting kicked off of Twitter by now. If you don't, hey, where have you been? Other conservative individuals flooded into Parler. Should have happened a long time ago. Like I said in my video yesterday and in past videos, I said Trump was an idiot for not going there a long time ago. As I rationalized, why would you want to help a site that's abusing you? I showed the stock prices from Twitter. As of recently, they've been down a few percent the past couple days since the announcement was made. After hours on Friday, they were down again. That could be a long-term thing. Again, it could just be a short-term blip. What I was talking about yesterday was, according to what I had read, 50% of the traffic on Twitter came from Trump supporters. Or actually, I shouldn't say Trump supporters. We'll say Trump followers, because I'm sure there were a lot of haters in there talking smack as well. So what I was saying, and I said, I know you guys get this, is if somebody isn't agreeing with you ideology-wise, whether that's a company, a celebrity, an athlete, whomever that may be, and you're sitting there putting money in their pocket, then you're the problem. Go somewhere else. The problem is when you try to go somewhere else, Parler could be shut down. From midnight Sunday, after Amazon warned it would shut its servers off as Apple bans it, and CEO warns they will have to rebuild the platform and slams attack on free speech. Let's read a little bit of this article here. Amazon told Parler that it is shutting off its servers from midnight Sunday. It could leave the app off the internet for up to a week. Earlier, Apple suspended Parler from its Apple Store a day after Google did the same, citing concerns it is inciting violence. And as we've seen, companies in Silicon Valley, kind of big tech as they call it, work hand in hand. You have individuals all over Twitter organizing, coming out for terrorist groups all through 2020, organizing, everybody throwing up their little black box for Black Lives Matter. And all of the damage they did, all of the Russia conspiracy stuff, all of the threats of violence against Trump, against conservatives, that stuff is cool. They just let that stuff stand. So I think the issue is, and it's what you get, is you have to be consistent with your message. And yeah, I get it. Business can do whatever business wants. If a business isn't consistent with its message, that's what I'm saying. Why would you stick around? They've shown you who they were all throughout 2020. So to stick around on that site and continue to use it and continue to help them profit, it's foolish. I know. But there's that pushback, right? It's, well, we're in the fight. We're here fighting. We don't want to give up. We want to push back, this and that. That's why we're staying here. I get all of that, and I kind of go back and forth with that versus business's ability to do what it wants and the need to push back so they don't go too far. Because when you go too far, like we know on Twitter, it's by and large a left-leaning, like crazy left site, echo chamber, if you will. And so if you have conservatives in mass going off of there, or say throughout 2020 just leaving the platform altogether and giving up, not really fighting, then you risk a situation where Parler or any other app that individuals could have gone to, Gab for instance, that could turn into an echo chamber of right-leaning individuals as well. And that is something that I wouldn't think is healthy. I always say I value the comments, love the love the hate too. There has to be that pushback. There always has to be that open dialogue, because so many different individuals out there, we don't always think about things in the same way. And I don't want to be somebody that gets caught up in this echo chamber where I'm just having people toot my horn all the time, and where I'm just taking in this information, confirmation bias, as I've said before, where I'm just taking in information that just, it doesn't challenge me in any way. That's just me. A lot of people do it different. Hopefully, all of you out there are willing to look at different sources and look at different perspectives and form your opinions from there. You listen to what I have to say, you listen to what others have to say, We read the stories, but I like listening to people on YouTube, BitChute, Brighteon, Rumble, and any other site out there. I like listening to what people say, but I want to try to challenge myself to not be thin-skinned, to not get offended by stuff. And that's why I say I love the hate comments. I love those because it challenges us, makes us tougher, and makes us think about things in different kinds of ways. On Friday, Apple had issued a 24-hour warning to Parler to clean up its act in moderating posts before also being removed from its App Store. And it's my understanding that Parler, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, I just had heard this from other sources. Individuals I don't think would lie about it because why would you? It can be fact-checked. So this is just what I heard from them. But Parler's terms of service strictly prohibit incitement of violence in any way, and you would be banned off of there. I have a Parler account. I have a Twitter account. Rarely use those. That's just me. I don't really spend too much time doing that sort of thing. Spend more time shooting videos and commenting and replying with you guys. That's my understanding, is that Parler has pretty strict terms of service. So that's why people who know that are saying this is just pushback because conservatives are going there. And it's a money thing. It's a power and control thing. Maybe you have some different opinions on that. If so, let me know. The app saw a major spike in traffic after the threats from two tech giants left people rushing to download Parler before it is suspended. Parler CEO John Maetze called the shutoffs and suspensions a coordinated attack by the tech giants to kill competition in the marketplace. No, they would never do such a thing, right? Nah, they would never do such a thing. Jeff Bezos' Amazon said it had suspended Parler from its Amazon Web Services unit for violating its terms of services by failing to effectively deal with a steady increase in violent content on the social media networking service. Parler CEO John Maetze announced the news, revealing it could leave the app unavailable for a week as the company attempts to rebuild from scratch. Earlier Saturday night, Apple said it is also suspending the app over accusations it is being used to incite violence. The Apple suspension comes after the tech giant gave Parler 24 hours to address the threats to people's safety or be removed from the App Store. The move comes one day after Google also removed Parler from its App Store, also citing posts inciting violence, and demanded robust content moderation from the app favored by many Trump supporters. Parler had been flooded by conservatives and right-wingers fleeing Facebook and Twitter in recent days in the week of suspension of prominent conservative figures, including Trump himself and the warnings from Apple. Maetze branded the shutoffs and suspensions coordinated attack by the tech giants to kill off competition in the marketplace. Here's his tweet here. Pause it here if you want to read through the tweet. I'm not going to go ahead and read through that. And there's the conclusion of it there. There's that dipshit. Glad his wife took half. In a letter to the social media site on Saturday, Parler has not upheld its commitment to moderate and remove harmful or dangerous content encouraging violence and illegal activity, and is not in compliance with the App Store review guidelines. Apple explained, "We have always supported diverse points of view being represented on the App Store." Bullshit. But there is no place on our platform for threats of violence and illegal activity. Parler has not taken adequate measures to address the proliferation of these threats to people's safety, it added. We have suspended Parler from the App Store until they resolve these issues. Maetze, in a post on Parler responding to the Apple suspension, said, "They claim it is due to violence on the platform. The community disagrees as we hit number 1 on their store today. More details about our next plans coming soon, as we have many options," Maetze said. He was forced to post again shortly afterwards as Amazon announced the shutoff of its servers. Amazon will be shutting off all of our servers in an attempt to completely remove free speech off the internet, he wrote. There is the possibility Parler will be unavailable on the internet for up to a week as we rebuild from scratch. We prepared for events like this by never relying on Amazon's proprietary infrastructure and building bare metal products. We will try our best to move to a new provider right now, as we have many competing for our business. However, Amazon, Google, and Apple purposefully did this as a coordinated effort, knowing our options would be limited and knowing this would inflict the most damage, right as President Trump was banned from the tech companies. We were too successful too fast, he added. You can expect the war on competition and free speech to continue, but don't count us out. Parler, a 2-year-old more free-willing alternative to Twitter, that has become increasingly popular among the president's most ardent supporters, would still be available in mobile browsers. Chief Policy Officer Amy Peikoff claimed on Friday night it is being targeted as a conservative platform that refuses to fact-check its users, and I talked about this in my video yesterday. Right-leaning social media users in the United States have flocked to Parler, messaging app Telegram, and hands-off social site Gab, citing the more aggressive policing of political comments on mainstream platforms, such as Twitter and Facebook. Censoring, policing meaning we don't like what you're saying. I'm telling you, this is a problem. I know a lot of you get this. Maybe a lot of you have thoughts or feelings that are way far out there, whatever side you're on. And I would say that if you are somebody on the right and you've heard people on the left getting banned and you cheered that, and again, people on the left that heard people on the right getting banned and you cheered that too, this is what you get. I mean, this is why we have to value free speech. And I've said this in many videos many months ago. It's easy. I know, I get it. It's easy. We're the home team. They're the away team. They're the visitor, to use some sports analogy. When we see somebody we don't like, it's so easy to want to hate them and want to root against them and to cheer when they get kicked off of a site. Ultimately, as I said, it just leads to this road you don't want to go on. More and more censorship. Big tech was definitely looking for an opportunity to do something like this. If it didn't come now, it probably would have come right after Biden was sworn in, because according to the donations, if you look that up, Democrats are definitely in bed with Wall Street and big tech, more so than Republicans. It's funny how that flipped, that the perception used to be Republicans were the party of Wall Street and money. But if you look that up and you do the research, you'd see that the Democrats are now the ones that are beholden to big tech and big companies and even mega billionaire donors. Interesting stuff. Look it up. But it's really a dangerous road. And for somebody like me, as I said, I don't post that much on either. A lot of you probably post more so on that. Even for somebody like me, I can see the concern that would come out of this. That people, it's like I said, it's the echo chamber. You don't want to do this. You don't want to go there, because it's going to get you. It's going to create a situation where you become one of those BLM animals, where you become one of those dumb commie, Antifa, whatever clowns, where you become like some of the individuals that they tell me that there are some white supremacist individuals who were in the Capitol that have ties to Aryan prison gangs and have ties to other kinds of white supremacities or factions. That's what happens when you don't immerse yourself in enough diversity of this. When you spend too much time around those individuals who only talk and think like you do, and in the case of, say, a BLM or the Supremes on the other side, too much time around the same skin tone, you become an individual that, you can kind of get wacky and you become easily manipulated. And in my opinion, let me scroll down a little. I'm going to not read this out. I think we get the gist, but I'll have it up there on the screen if you want to read it. But you just don't want to become that person, because you become that useful idiot, as they say. The only thing I would say is when you're taking this stuff in, you hear it and you know it's BS. You fight it. You definitely fight it. Don't sit here and do this crazy rage stuff. Fight it. Help companies like this. If they have to start over, help them. If you're out there and you have the expertise, do something on your own. Form a group. Write your local officials. Contact your congressperson. Anything you can do to help fight this stuff. It's really a crushing thing to think that we're the country that's founded and has all these liberties. Other countries are watching us, and they see the BS that happens politically and how this is just politically motivated. You follow the money. You see where the money from these tech companies is gone. You see who they're supporting. And to expect that administration to do anything about this, it's going to have to be, in my opinion, kind of a state-by-state case with attorneys generals from those states filing the antitrust lawsuits against these. Because to expect anything from the Biden administration regarding 230 or monopolies or censorship, anything favorable to liberty, we're going to be waiting a long time for anything like that to happen. So it's up to individuals to push back and to ensure that regardless of whether or not we agree with somebody's opinion, that they still have the right to say their opinion, and we have the right to challenge that. Again, you don't want to get caught up in the echo chamber. You don't want to be that useful idiot. You don't want to let them manipulate you and kind of mindfuck you to where you become one of those individuals who goes out there and causes that violence. And you end up in jail and nothing changes. Even if there's somebody out there who's saying things you don't necessarily like, you have to respect free speech. Their free speech, your free speech, it all is tied together. If they lose, ultimately you lose. If you lose, ultimately they'll lose. So you don't want to cheer this stuff on. Free speech, everybody. We're supposed to be the greatest, freest nation there is. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Hopefully you have a good weekend.